Hey everybody, Crystal Beaudry here with Crystal's Clean Kitchen. You guys, we have a great episode for you today. Now, as you know, we are doing a Valentine's Day episode series. And in fact, I have a whole playlist all about Valentine's Day, so go check that out. But in today's episode, we're making a red velvet donut with cream cheese frosting. Oh my goodness, you guys are going to love this. Of course, it's low carb friendly, it's keto approved, and it's delicious. Well, thank you so much for watching, but do me a huge favor and hit that like button. Here's all the ingredients that you're going to need for your red velvet donuts. So for the flour, we're going to start with 2 cups of some almond flour. I just get my almond flour from Costco. It is super cheap. Then we're doing 3/4 of a cup of some coconut flour and 3/4 of a cup of the baking cocoa. Now, of course, that has no sugar added. It is just pure baking cocoa. For the sweetener, I'm going to be mixing 2 of them together. I'm going to be mixing the erythritol monk fruit, which I get from Costco, and then some allulose sweetener. Now, I got this from Amazon. It is hard to find it anywhere except on Amazon, so I will make sure to link this down below for you. It is so good to have on hand, though, so you definitely want to have some of that on hand. So I'll be doing a cup total, so a 1/2 cup of the allulose, a 1/2 cup of the erythritol monk fruit. However, you can use any sugar substitute that you want, and it would probably work out just fine. Then we're going to be using 2 teaspoons of some baking powder. Now, this is my homemade baking powder. I have a video about that on my channel. It is grain-free and it is aluminum-free. So 2 teaspoons of that, and then a 1/4 of a teaspoon of the baking soda. Then we'll be doing a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now, I use the Celtic sea salt, which has 82 essential minerals in it, and it is so incredible. It's the best salt that you can buy for your body. It is so good for you. And I will put a link for that. I got from Amazon also. Then we'll be doing 3 eggs. Now, you want your eggs to be at room temperature, and a cup of some heavy whipping cream. We'll be doing a 1/4 cup of some melted butter. You want to melt it and then let it cool down so it's not so hot. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Then you need 1 teaspoon of vinegar. Now, I just have this apple cider vinegar, so I'm going to be using that, but you can use any kind of vinegar, would probably work. We'll be needing 1 cup of boiling water. And then to make this red, we're going to be using some red beet powder. I got this from Amazon also. It was not very expensive. I will link that down below as well. Now for the frosting, we are going to be using some butter and some cream cheese. So maybe 2 tablespoons of some butter, 4 ounces of cream cheese, a teaspoon of some vanilla, and then we're also going to be using some allulose as our sweetener for that. So we'll be doing probably about a 1/2 cup of some allulose in there. And then if you need to thin it out, you can use either some more heavy whipping cream or some almond milk would work as well for that. So we are going to start with 2 cups of some almond flour. Then we're going to add it in our sweetener. Now, I have the 1/2 cup of the monk fruit and the 1/2 cup of the allulose in here. There you go, Hannah, careful. Good job. Now we're going to add in the 3/4 cup of some coconut flour. Go for it, girl. And then I'm adding in the 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, 3/4 cup of some cocoa powder. I'm adding in the 2 teaspoons of baking powder and the 1/2 teaspoon of some salt. Okay, Hannah, we got to mix this up very carefully. Now, this is all the dry ingredients. Now, as you guys can tell, this is actually going to make quite a few donuts because we are wanting some for giving to our friends and our family, and having enough for the whole family. What do you think? Is that mixed enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
What is it? Brown meat.
Yep, the cocoa in there makes it brown. We're going to start by adding 3 eggs, a little teaspoon of some vanilla. Hurry up, Hannah. Then we'll be adding 1 cup of heavy whipping cream, a 1/4 cup of some melted butter, and 1 teaspoon of the vinegar. Mix that together. All right, now we're going to add in some of our dry ingredients. We're going to do it very slowly. And then you also need to add in 1 cup of some boiling hot water. Now I'm waiting to do this while I am adding it in with the powder, just because I don't want the eggs to be cooked with it. And then I'm also going to be adding in my red beet powder right now as well.
I like pink.
You like pink?
That's actually pink.
Yeah, so you need 3 teaspoons of this.
Oh, what is that?
Ooh, that looks fun, doesn't it?
Yeah, I like that so much.
Some people like to use red food coloring for this, but you know what? That has so much junk in it. Well, it is still looking really chocolatey and not very red. What do you think? Should we add another red?
Yeah.
All right, so I got these silicone donut molds from Amazon. Yes, I know, I get everything from Amazon. All right, Hannah, you want to help me? We're going to just be putting all of the butter. Now, some people do not put butter in the bottom of a silicone mold because, you know, it kind of defeats the purpose. But sometimes donuts can be challenging to get out of the donut mold, and I hate that challenge. So I just end up putting a little butter on the bottom just to make it a little bit easier. So I'm going to be taking the batter and putting it into a icing bag. And this is going to make it a little bit easier for me to pipe it into the donuts so that they look really nice and uniform. I've tried it both ways. I've tried it where I just take a spoon and kind of spoon it in, and that will work, but sometimes it's not as beautiful looking at the end.
Oh, that's a window.
Yeah, I got to do more for that one, huh? Here you go. Now I'm going to be putting this in the oven at 350 degrees for about 25 to 30 minutes. So I took my 4 ounces of cream cheese, my 2 tablespoons of butter, and I'm going to just be melting this a little bit to make it softer to work with for my frosting. So now that I have gotten my cream cheese and butter a little bit more melted, I'm going to be starting to whip it. I'm going to add in my 1/2 cup of some allulose. Now I took my allulose out of the bag and I powdered it in my blender. Now it already comes pretty powdered, but I just wanted to make sure that it was super, super fine. So I did that, and it actually looks like it turned out pretty good. I can tell that it's very powdered. Now I'm going to start to beat this for a while, and then I'm going to just be adding in a little bit of some heavy whipping cream to kind of thin it out, thin the topping out just a little bit more. Not very much though, because I do want this to be a little thicker. I just pulled these out of the oven. Now I decided on one pan I wouldn't wait for them to cool down. I just kind of maybe gave it a minute and then I flipped it right over, and man, they just popped right out. So I'm going to give this one just a little bit more time before flipping it. I noticed that a couple of them broke a little bit, and one of them turned out like that. But other than that, they look pretty good. And I did mine for 25 minutes. So I let my donuts cool down a bit. I'm just going to be putting the frosting on the top of them. This is looking so amazing. So I'm just going to be sprinkling a little bit of the red food coloring on the top. Then some of them I will just leave plain. All right, so here is the finished product. Now, of course, as we are working with food coloring that is more natural, it's going to be different. It's not going to be the exact same as a store-bought food coloring that has tons of ingredients in it. So you just got to work with it, and that's totally fine too. All right, you guys, here it is. We are ready for our Valentine's Day treat. All right, let's give it a taste test. Careful. Wow, that was super good. It was so chocolatey. The frosting just made it delicious. You guys, thank you so much for watching. No, don't forget to check out the other stuff in my Valentine's Day playlist because it's delicious. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for some more great recipes. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Hit that subscribe button.